Hi, this is Steve. I'm going to do a attempt to do a quick video on how to set up the reversal bars using different size tick charts. So I'm attached to a simulated data feed. There's another video on that if you don't know how to do that, but you really need to be there for this. I'm going to go ahead and create a new chart. I like to use crude or YM because the math is easy to see the ticks. In this case, I'm just going to do a quick 10 tick chart. Over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the indicator and just come down to reversal bars. And if you don't know how to do this yet, there's a video on that too. But anyway, I'm assuming it's here. Now I have my templates already saved to some different colors, and I've even saved them as defaults. And I have different ones for different charts. So yours will just have a generic default, your generic audio files, and there's a zip file on my webpage that has a lot of audio files, more than just the regular bells and whistles. I preferably like to call. I have my own custom audio files because that way I can call the chart of what it is. Small NQ, large NQ, whatever chart you want, call it what it is. That way, when you hear it go off, it'll be there. In any event, hold on, so I've changed this to crude, and I'll turn on audios. You can see right here it's off. You could come in here and turn the audio off, or you could just use the switch that's up there. I find that one a lot easier. In this case, I'm going to turn off the B, C, and D, and E synthetics, and I'm only going to work with the main input, which is this one right here, the entries, the buy. And this is set up for our default input, which is our chart, which is right here. Yeah, the 10 tick. So coming back up to the entry, that defaults to the chart you're on. In this case, a lot of times I'll just put 1 in there just because I like to have it the reversal bar +1 as far as a stop. But right now in this scenario, I'm just going to use 0. So let's turn on our audio. There he goes, a little click. And we'll just have it go the other way. And I'll turn this off. There, get rid of that. And again, just quickly while we're waiting for that to paint, you could change the colors of these bars, anything you want. So let's let that calculate there. Okay, so now it should just follow it up, and try to blow this up here. If I reverse it, then it should paint in a second. There it is, and it'll paint on the way down. So now that we've got that, let's add another one. So I'm going to create a new chart, and this one I happen to have up, and we'll call this one a 20 tick, chart. And if you look at, what we're trying to do is mimic the two of them together. So this is a 22, and so what I've done in this one is, again, I've turned off B, C, and D synthetics right now, and I've changed. I call this one CL Momentum, the audio file, so that way we can have some sort of difference between the two charts. But in any event, the lines are the same, defaults, 0. But again, if you notice, the input file is a 20 tick. So let's just go there. So let's go here. Oh, so now we have to go to this one here, and we have to turn on B. So we're going to turn on B, which is our next time frame up, and 0. You notice our inputs now have been changed to 20. You have to go in there and change your inputs. They default to close, but go into your input and change it to the 20 tick is what you want. And I've made this one 3, the width of the bar a little bigger, just so it sticks out a little bit more. And if you've noticed, I made this one dots. There's our initial one is solid. And again, you change the colors if you want. I'll keep the colors the same, but there. So now let's have this do some things. Let it calculate here a little bit. And now that second reversal bar should mimic this one. And if it's off by a tick or two, you might have to go add a number or so. But for the most part, I believe these should be pretty because they're kind of close together. We might have to add one tick, but ultimately what you want to do, you got to give it a little chance to run around and calculate too, rather than just instantly switching it. Okay, well that's calculating there. Okay, so here's our main solid line, which is our tick chart that we're in, but here's our dotted synthetic, which is this one over here. So now let's add a third, and I just so happen to have another one up. And we're going to make this one a 50. Kind of running out of real estate here, but I guess we don't need that much. So now in this one, again, this is the main one. I've called this one yet another audio file, just so I have it. Again, I've turned off B, C, D, and E on this one, and I just have the regular lines for a 50. Again, the input down here is going to be 50, so go. And there's our 50. So what we want to do now is turn this little chart on, or whichever chart you want to work on. And you want to go to C. So we can close these up actually if you don't want to see them, if you're happy with them. So here's C. We'll make this one black. And so in other words, up will be black and down will be white and whatever. We'll make this one dot dash. How's that? And again, we'll make this one dot dash. And again, now I've noticed with the 50, the 4 offset between the two charts, it gets a little closer. But again, you got to play around with it. So now let's turn that on. Let's go the other way. Let it calculate a little bit. Now let's pause it. I'm back. I wasn't getting this one to paint for me, and I forgot to enable C. So you have to enable whichever one you want. In any event, you try to mimic. Let's go back down here. You're going to try to mimic. You can see that the what is this 20 tick chart and these two are matched pretty well, and it's with a zero offset. But this bigger chart, the 50, it's kind of close, but you got to give it a chance. Now remember, we have this one set for black and white. So once it crosses the 50, it's going to change color on us to the white. There it is right there. And this one should change in a minute. Now you notice I have 18 here and 21 here. So I might have to go in. I might have to go into the indicators and go to C, because that's our 50 ticker. And that was the button I forgot to turn off or turn on. We might want to change that and play with the number a tad bit. And you could even make this, we're going to go bigger. We'll make it 5 wide. It'll stick out like a sore thumb. But again, you have to have your right margin. So if you need a bigger right margin, which I prefer, you'd have to go into your properties and just click I have mine 80, but I just don't like that really close margin. So in any event, this has got to calculate for a little bit. I don't know why the simulated data feed has to do that, but it has to kind of catch up and do its math. But in any event, you just have to keep playing around with this until you get the right numbers to match the particular chart. Once you have it set, certainly write down your numbers and save the template, whatever you have to do to remember them. Otherwise, you have to do it again. But once you've got it pretty much set, then it's pretty much set, and that's the end of that. And if it's the same thing, if you want to put a bigger chart, you want to do a 100 ticker, well, you have to do the same thing. Create a 100 tick chart, go into the indicators, and add D, and right here, and turn it on, of course. And you have to change its parameters. In this case, you're going to go tick, and you make it 100, and turn it on. Change your colors, your dots, your dashes, whatever you might be, you want to do. And then change, you can start with 0. You make your bar width anything you want. I'm going to turn it off because I can go there, but that's just the same way. So now you have on your small chart, which I like to use, for actually getting into. I look at the big ones, don't get me wrong, but I like the small charts as, zooming in like a little scope. But anyway, it will show you the first reversal bar, and then the middle chart, and then the white one is our bigger one. We're off by a tick, and so that's close enough for government work there. There now, or even not just refresh, so we're okay. So that hopefully will help you. And the same thing we'd have to do with the minute charts. I've got mine set with my numbers, so I never have to even play with them. And but I know everybody uses different charts, so you have to go back to the drawing board like anything in any indicator. One minor thing I forgot to mention, under the indicator there is an arrow. It's all the way down under visuals right here. It's shrunk. I don't use it anymore, but in the event it's on, turn it off. Basically, I'll turn it on right now. Basically what it does is it paints an arrow or square or whatever you want on there of where the reversal bar took place. I obviously don't have a need for it, so mine is off and I have it defaulted to off, but when you get it, it might be defaulted to on, so you could turn that off by doing that there. So here's the visual triangle. They're just set for triangles. You can see how they just reverse. I particularly don't care for them, so I turn them off, and then they just go off. And the switch there is if you don't want them to plot at all, the visual, if you want to turn it off. I don't know why you'd want to turn it off, because I kind of like it. I always have it on. I do turn off the audio though, because sometimes when it goes nuts it kind of gets annoying. But that's why I have the custom ones in there, so I know which chart to look at. Anyway, I'm sticking this in there. Okay, I hope this helped. Hope this helps. And as always, here's my commercial. If you have any issues or questions, comments, whatever, I'm available for you. I'm retired and all I do is trade. Okay, thank you much. You can pause this and write it down if you need it. Other than that, I'll talk to you later.